Welcome back to Page to Picture, the podcast where books come to life on screen and in conversation. I am your host, Kim, and today I am so excited to bring back a returning author. She was on our podcast back in September where we talked about Tell Me Your Mind, and today she's back and we are talking about her new upcoming release, which had me giddy, crying, and proud to be Filipino, I will say. It's called If You Fall, and welcome back to Page to Picture.
Thank you for having me again.
I am so excited. First of all, before we get into your book, how have you been since the last time we talked? I was like, when was the last time we interviewed? And it was September, or that's when your episode aired.
Yeah, I think we actually spoke. We recorded in August, so
Yes.
mid-August. It
Yeah.
wasn't too far from September. Because I think our podcast came out during my release week, so
Right.
it wasn't too far. Well, since then, it was kind of odd because like around that time basically between September and now is essentially just like me prepping for this next book.
Yeah.
And while marketing slowly and then ramping it up, also writing and then spiraling because the writing wasn't going the way I wanted. Yeah, so it's kind of leveling out now where I feel in a better place of writing. But like for a while I was like in a 4 months slump.
Oh my
4
God,
months writing slump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
You're like, what is going on with me? Is there something in the air right now?
I actually figured out why it was. I don't know if we want to go into it now or later, but it was just like the next book was not hitting me correctly. The characters were not hitting me correctly because usually the characters usually talk to me and then I can just let it out and like put it on my file, but they were just being very quiet. They were being so obnoxiously quiet. I'm just like, I need you guys to talk. And they're just like, no,
You're
we're
like
chilling.
a
We're not doing anything.
therapist. You're like, is there anything you guys want to share today? They're
Exactly.
like, no.
Like, yep, every day. And which is a prime time, like, because midday is usually when I write. And I was like, anything you guys, what's going on today, guys? And there's absolute crickets.
They're like, ask us another time. Ask us tomorrow.
Oh, I pivoted. And then I'm working on my pivot right now. And I've been kind of talking about it on my stories, like here and there. But yeah, I'm sure you're going to ask me a couple questions about it later. So I'm going to save it for later.
Okay, well, let's talk about the book that we are here to talk about that you sent us. If You Fall. And when we had talked, you had told us that this was coming.
Yep.
You were like, because my sister was like, I'm looking for like military romance. And I was like, girl, she came through. She got the book. It's here. If You Fall, why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners real quick? It's part of your Night Spartan series.
Yes.
What this book is about.
So it's basically about a young woman who finds out that an unfortunate accident has happened to her older brother and her sister-in-law. So now essentially her only nephew is orphaned, essentially. So she takes it upon herself to take care of him. And her sister-in-law's older brother, her nephew's uncle, actually he lives across the street. So he and the female main character, they work together in order to kind of help like solidify and like kind of stabilize their nephew's now new existence without his parents. And then, feelings get involved and, like cozy romance stuff kind of sort. It's not that cozy when I think about it, but like
you're like, when I pitch
everyday
it,
life,
it's cozy. The small moments that they go through, the winks that he does, it's cozy. There's like, there's coziness.
It's like those everyday slice of life things that happen like in a Hallmark movie. That's kind of the feels of each chapter.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I want to first start off with your characters' names.
Yep.
You've got Odette.
Yep.
And you've got Christian, but his middle name is Derek. When you put that in the book, I literally shut my book and I like fell to my floor. I was like, yes, please, can you please share the name Odette and Derek with our listeners, because it gets me so giddy. I love the movie. As soon as it dropped on Netflix, I was watching it constantly. Please share with our listeners.
So for our millennial listeners, I guess, back in 1994, probably, John Bluth came out with a movie, live action, or an animated movie called The Swan Princess. It's basically a remake or a retelling of Swan Lake.
Yeah.
The title character, her name is Odette, and the not but then and that's in Swan Lake and also in Swan Princess, and then in the animated version, the prince is named Prince Derek.
Yeah.
So the funny thing with their names is that Odette, I always wanted like a European-esque, very unique name. Actually, I believe like the actor Mark Ruffalo, his daughter's name is Odette, I think. Something like that. I remember there's an actor, he's talking about how he wanted like a very unique name for his child, and him and his wife landed with Odette, I think. That's why I think that's the only person that I know
No.
adjacent that someone has it.
Yeah.
So the swan idea, and personally, I am a huge fan of Tchaikovsky's music. He's the one who wrote Swan Lake and Sleeping
Mhm.
Beauty, and The Nutcracker. So those are little like random Easter eggs that kind of pop in through the book.
Yeah.
Derek was a different story. I think Derek is a pretty popular name for Filipinos.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
it kind of crossed that way. However, also while I was formulating like his character, I was thinking about my crush growing up when I
Mhm.
was my prince crush growing up, and that was Prince Christopher from the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella with
Um,
Brandy.
Facts. 100%.
So that kind of crossed over, and I was like, I didn't want it to be super obvious that Derek was, that was the parallel
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah.
Swan Princess and my characters. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put this in and see how it goes. And then actually she's my friend who's also doing my content creation. She was reading the early drafts, and she's like, Christian Derek Reyes is such a Pinoy name. Oh my god.
Yeah, for sure. It totally
It
is.
was. Yeah, but
It was
yeah,
like
that
no question about it. I was like, yeah, I feel like there's somebody out here with that name
yeah,
walking the streets.
probably.
Like,
Yeah, so that's what the origins of the names essentially. It's kind of like a mishmash of mostly Tchaikovsky, mostly like Swan Princess, and because I love that movie. It's just
are you kidding me?
it's a horrible amount of how much I love that movie.
I love it. When I seriously got to that scene, I like
Mhm.
dropped I dropped everything and I was like, yes, like a woman who knows my heart. Like, this is perfect.
Like,
That music, if you have not watched it, and I don't
mhm.
know who has not watched it, but if you have
Yeah.
not watched it, the
Mhm.
music in the intro, like the first couple minutes,
Mhm.
like I will
Yeah.
just rewind and just keep playing it.
Yeah.
My husband was like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "You don't know." Okay.
Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna have to go tangent about this because okay, I know that this podcast also talks about Bridgerton, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I made a post a couple weeks ago, and what was that line in Swan Princess? It's like it was Derek and Odette. They were constantly meeting each other like growing up, and then they
As their
finally met
kittens.
again as adults, right? And then he was like, he was totally agreed to marry her. He's like, "You're beautiful. You're everything I've ever wanted." And she's like, "Well, is that all the only thing that matters?" And he's like,
Yes.
what else
What?
is there, right?
Yeah.
How to offend a woman in four words or less, right? So then then I finished watching
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton
Mhm,
for
mhm.
one, or like the first half of season
Yeah.
4, and I was like, how to offend a woman in 4 syllables or less. I thought Prince Derek got it, but then here comes Benedict Benny Boo Boo Bridgerton, and I was like,
Will you be
oh my
mister
god,
I was like, my God, when my husband and I watched that scene,
yeah,
because like I read the book, so the word mistress was like
yeah,
all over the book, like
yeah,
you knew. My
yeah,
husband was like, "What an idiot!" It's like, thank you. My God, it was yeah. Those are just
yeah.
don't follow those leads, okay? Just
Just like the
you know,
first half. The second half of the fandom or
yeah,
the piece, it's fine. It's
follow
fine.
along. Just some things don't follow, okay? Don't
Yeah.
follow that. Um, So if you fall, I really enjoyed this book.
Thank
I
you.
right off the bat, I was like, okay, it kind of there's a movie with the names are gonna escape me. I think it's oh gosh, now I have to look them up real quick.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
go.
movie with she's like a blonde actress, and then the guy Josh Duhamel, and she was on Grey's Anatomy. Wait, what is her name? Let's look. Josh Duhamel movie. Life as We Know It. Josh Duhamel and Katherine Heigl. Have you seen
Oh,
that
I
movie?
haven't watched that. No.
It's literally they go on a date. They're
Mhm.
set up by their like sister and a best friend or something, and it's like the worst date ever. And something unexpectedly happens to the child's parents, and they
Mhm.
are the ones that have to raise this child. And
Mm.
it's like a enemies to lovers vibe. Like they hate each other off the bat, but then they ended up falling in love. So like right when I was reading it, I was like, oh my God, I was like, his parents. And then I was like, wait, and I was like, but I was like, it's kind of like that, but they like kind of like each other already, like off the bat.
Yeah, there was I mean, there it's this consistent, like, she knows he's or she met him and, you know, he's attractive, he's good looking, he's charming, he's confident, like, that's I think that's pretty evident, but it
Yeah.
was never it's almost like that just that crush you had in high school, you're not gonna talk to him ever. You're not
Yeah.
gonna tell him anything. It's just like that whole, like, admiring from a distance thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of how she was at, and I think that's where he was at too. And
Yeah.
that's how it starts, but then it was kind at the first couple chapters, the first part of the story, it was very much like, we gotta focus on what's going on with
Yes.
Matt, their nephew. Like, we gotta stabilize what's going on with him first, and then things just kind of it was very quiet. Everything that happened
Balloon there.
afterwards was very
Mm-hmm.
quiet. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and then also he was like married at a time, right?
Uh-huh.
And when they got to that scene, and I was like, he was so like that ex-wife. I was like, what a bitch. I was like, how dare how and the best friend? I was
Yeah.
like, like so sad. I was like, you don't deserve her. She doesn't deserve you.
Yeah.
That was so good. I was like, "Wait," because it's mentioned that he was married, and I was
Mhm.
like, "What happened?" In my mind, as I'm reading, I was like, "Did she die? Did, like,
Mhm.
they just get divorced? But, like, what happened?" And then you were like, "Here's what happened." I was like, "That bitch.
That
Um,
that
I hate
actual
her." Yeah, I was like, "Hate her. I don't want anything to do with her in the story. Get her out of it."
Yeah.
But so this story, it's very you have it in your like your and the after about the story and about acknowledgments. It's very close to home for you. You have a lot of things that have happened in your personal world that is in this story. Can you share that
Yeah.
with our listeners?
So the first thing is because it's based on Virginia Beach, right? And I actually well, my husband was prior service Navy. My dad is prior service Navy. It's a very Filipino thing.
Navy? Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
So it's kind of like a love letter to service members and service member families because I think technically so basically because my dad and husband were prior service, I was like a Navy kid and a Navy spouse or a Navy wife.
Yeah.
So it's very much like love letters to that. And then um honestly I'd have to look what else I wrote in acknowledgments. I'm pretty sure okay, so obviously the other thing I can think about is no, sorry, I'm sorry, Odette, our female main character, she works in a pediatric
Yes.
hospital. I used to
Yeah.
work in pediatrics, and honestly, it was one of the best experiences in terms of, like, specialty care. So
Mhm.
I was in hematology oncology, so kids can't with cancer, sickle cell, like, that was my specialty for, like, 3 years, along with, like, formula, breast milk, things like that, because I was the nutritionist for the department for the hospital, and while she's a care coordinator, so a different job, usually a nurse is managing that. Every case that's in this book is a reflection of a child who died while I was working there. So like maybe I was because usually with cancer, depending their inpatient rotations. last either between like 9 months to 2 years. And then if I never hear from them again and I hear of an end of chemo party,
Mhm.
then that's a good thing. Like I never
Mhm.
see them through these doors ever again. But then if they come back, then that's usually the harder part.
Right.
So I kind of put them in here in a way to like
Yeah.
reflect and remember them.
Yeah.
And then what else did I write? What else did I write? I don't even remember. Hang on. Oh, um, the whole thing with Navy Aviation, I actually have a friend back when we were stationed in the California desert. We befriended someone, and she works as a search and rescue corpsman. So search and rescue, they pretty much like when they rescue from helicopters, whether like from the sea or from the mountains. She is part of a team like that, and so she works very closely. She's essentially part of the aviation department. Anything that's medical is aviation.
Mhm.
So she was like my consultant essentially, and she helped me out with all the information. So to make sure it was as accurate as I could make it, but still as engaging to like a romance reader as possible.
Yeah, not like
Yeah.
just like info dump and you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I didn't
"What am
want
I
it too
reading?"
technical. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want it too technical, but I did want to have everything rooted in some sort of truth and realism.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like even I won't get into spoilers, but it's the second to the last chapter when they practice landing
Mhm.
on a mountain
Mhm.
in Naval Air Station Fallon. That mountain and that can where you can sign off, that actually exists. So there's a lot of mountains. Like if you ever hear of any like naval bases where they do like landings and things like that, or on
Mhm.
mountains, on mountaintops, or when they like run up there or something, there's usually a can and like kind of like a like a notebook of like I did this. It's like a kind of a rite of passage kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those actually exist for like it's kind of like a urban legend kind of thing, like among
Mm,
the locals. Yeah,
yeah. Wow.
yeah,
So you've got a lot, yeah, so yeah, so you have a little bit because you're
hmm
experienced in it, so it's in your book, but I like how it's there, but it's not like you say, it's not, like, heavy where you're just kinda like, "Am I just reading a manual about, like, what it's like to be
yeah,
in the
yeah.
Navy?" No, it's really good, it's really interesting, and another thing I wanted to talk about, and you posted on your Instagram, you had a post and it was like Easter eggs in this book. And I would love for you to share with our listeners because I have a question about one of the Easter eggs. So I would like you first share them and then I'll go with my question.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the ones that I do you want me to cover the ones that I covered in the store in the Instagram story or like other ones?
You could do a mix of both. The one I question is the what is it? Call
The call
signal.
sign?
Yes. I want to talk about that. I was like,
You can ask me about all the call signs because there's a story behind all the call signs, or at least
yeah.
the main ones, at least that I can think of.
Yes, like, can you give us okay, so first of all, it was like
Mhm.
his call sign is Mingo, right? Which girl, I gotta send you one of those packages, like, some of those dried mangoes, like,
I'm so dried mango
I
deprived
can't believe they
here.
don't have them out there,
They
or
have
a
like
Red Robin.
huh?
Th
The red ribbon? Yeah, no.
Yeah, the Red Ribbon,
No.
they don't have it out there?
So there's no red ribbon. I know there's red ribbon where you're at.
Yeah, there's, like, a lot.
And I don't know if there's a Goldilocks. Goldilocks is mostly California. This is where I
I
grew
think
up,
there's, like I don't know if
but
there's a Goldilocks or if there is maybe one or if I don't know if there is anymore, but
yeah, no, there's none. There's no red ribbon. So like, if I have a mamon craving, it's not here. Like, I just have to just suffer.
you're like, "Great." You're like, "This is fun."
Yeah, we just got a bakery in the area. It's kind of like I don't remember what it's called. It's like a Valerio's adjacent. So it's like they have pandesal, they have what do you call it? They have Spanish bread, but like and like cuchinta and puto. But like if I want mamon, if I want mango cake, I can't get mango cake. Like it's
Oh
just like
my
you're just again,
god.
I'm just gonna have to just suffer. Just absolutely deprived. I was like, maybe I'll just have to go back to like Virginia, or maybe I have to just go back to Vegas, wink wink, nudge nudge.
Yeah.
Like
Hello. Come on out,
I
please. We will
know.
like I was like, they're not I just assume they're everywhere.
No, no. girl, no.
You're like, "I wish." You're like, "This is a PSA to
Yeah.
Red Ribbon. Please be everywhere."
Yeah, please hook your indie author up who just,
Yeah.
like, mentioned you in her book, like, at least twice. I don't even remember.
You're like, "I need it.
Yeah.
Please send me a
Um,
package, a care
yeah.
package."
I know. Just fill up a, like, buy unbox with boom.
You're like, "I'll be so happy with that."
So, yeah, mango so, yes, that specific Philippine brand, that green and blue packaging, yes,
Yeah.
that's my snack as a kid. So, also, that was, like, kind of the main reason, honestly, was, like, why I called him Mango. It's kinda weird, but, like,
You're like,
yeah.
"Yeah, why not?"
Yeah, exactly. Why not? So that was the, call sign, or that's his call sign, and that was, like, a little Easter egg, like, it's kinda just from my childhood,
Mhm.
just food driven,
And I love,
essentially.
like, in your video, you were like, in Top Gun, like, you don't know these actors, their character's name except
Mhm.
for their call, and I was like, "She is so right." Like,
Yeah,
I don't know their names, and then I like how you're like, "They're here, by the way, if you
yeah.
wanna know." I was like, "No, I don't know. I don't wanna know their names."
Yeah, because like, I don't know, have you watched Top Gun: Maverick? Have you watched it?
Yes!
So, do you know any of their real names?
No.
No? We don't know. All I know is just, like, it's like, there's I know Bradley Bradshaw, Rooster,
Yes.
Miles Teller. That's it. That's the only one I know.
You're like, "I know the
Yeah.
actors and then
Yeah.
their call signs," but, like,
Yeah.
that's it.
It's
What their real
like,
name is? Who I don't know.
yeah, Hangman, Cyclone, Hot John Ham. That's all I
Yeah.
know. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, yeah, that's true. That's very true. Like, again, like what my friend said, she's just like, no one knows anyone's names. Like, and then when they have to send them an email, because, through official Navy business, they have to send them an
Right.
email. They're just like, dude, I don't know so and so's name. Wait, hang on. And they like go up to them, hey, what's your actual name? So I can type it into like the little like the
Yeah,
email
yeah,
section.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
If
like a
we
thing.
could all just go by our names. So, like, would yours be Mango? If you were to pick one for yourself?
Dude, I don't even know. I never thought about that. What would my call sign be?
I know, I don't even
Jeez.
know what mine would be either. You're
I
like,
don't
"That's a
know.
good one, though."
I know.
Like, what would everyone's call sign like, if you were to pick, you know what I mean?
That's a good question. I honestly like I always associate with like rabbits.
Mhm.
Like, so cuz I don't know if you guys can see this, but hang on.
What is
So like I like move my nose like a rabbit, like,
Yeah, 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 I see
so.
it.
And also, I don't know, I have this weird fixation, this weird, like, cuteness with rabbits. Everything I have is like if it's like a little, like, keychain or something, it's like rabbit.
A
Like,
rabbit.
also, when I get angry or upset, sometimes I stomp, which is like
Like
what a
Thumper,
rabbit
like
does. Yeah, yeah, it's
yes!
like thumper, like what a rabbit does, like thumper, so
You're like,
that sticks.
you're like, "My call sign would be rabbit." That'd be
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
I think mine I'm trying to think, like, what I have, like, a fixation over. It'd be hard. I do love, um, hummingbirds. Those are, like, something that's, like, very special and meaningful to me and, like, my husband and my family. So maybe, like, a hummingbird
Okay.
or maybe, like, lightning bolt. I love Harry Potter so much.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, like,
Lightning.
everybody needs to come up with their own and share what
Mhm.
yours would be, and that's just what we're gonna call each other from now on.
Share in the comments.
Yeah, share in the comments what would yours be? Because like,
Mhm.
I also had asked this question I started asking this question to authors because one author did it. What if you were to get a tattoo that symbolized this book, what tattoo would you get?
Other than the ladybug, that's the big one though. Like that's like the biggest symbol in this book
The
is the
ladybug.
ladybug.
Oh my god, the ladybug, see? With the dog?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "Oh my god, my heart." I was like, I could see this little kid, like, the way was it hard? Okay, wait, I gotta ask you real quick.
Yeah.
Was it hard writing Matt, like, the kid? Was it hard trying to gather, I guess, him grieving and kind of going through this process and asking those type of questions and the scenes where he's, like, crying at the door for his mom and dad? I Like, it broke my heart. I, like, went to my son and I was like, "I love you." He's like, "Okay, I love you too." He's like 12. He's like, "All right."
You know what? When I was younger, writing children was hard or like it couldn't quite get it. But then working at a children's hospital helped. Like, because when I was working there, I was working pretty much with like preemie. I was exposed at least to preemies all the way to like 21-year-olds.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of at least been able to pickpocket those ranges and like understand like what their mindsets were and like what they're able to grasp around that time.
Mhm.
So yeah, it wasn't too hard to at least convey what they're thinking or what they're saying. Now to actually sit down and write and like torture him like that, yes, that's
I
hard.
know.
Like, but I was like,
You're
it's
like,
okay.
"You're
Like,
gonna be
yeah,
okay."
you're gonna be okay, kiddo. It's fine. Like, I'm just like
Cry.
the desk, dude. I cry so much writing this book. Like, not just this book. I think this whole series is just gonna make me a mess. But yeah,
What
I was.
scene I mean, like, what scene specifically was, like, so emotional for you to write that had you just, like, like, you're just like, "I'm so sorry that I'm doing this."
I'm so sorry. My cord is stuck. Okay.
It's okay.
Technical difficulties. Okay. I actually did I pinpoint it? Did I pin mark it somewhere? First one is chapter 1. Let me see. Hang on. It's like one of Christian's lines, and he's talking about how he got his sister through nursing school.
Yes.
And then she she wanted to be a nurse practitioner, going to further school, and he's just like, "Do you need help?" And she said, "No, it's okay. I got it, Kuya. Don't worry about it." And then
Mhm.
he's like, "Now that she's gone, am I still her Kuya? Am I still her older brother?" And I was just like sitting there, and I even still I think about it. I'm like just
Emotional.
crying. And then like that's when my husband comes in, and he's like, "Is this the I
Just
need a
let you
hug moment,
process?
or is this do you need to write and finish the paragraph moment?"
Oh my
So yeah,
god.
that was the hard scene because I was thinking of my own siblings.
Mhm.
Trying to think of the other scenes that
It
was
got
really hard.
emotional for me with when he has to tell his mom, when they're like,
Mm.
do we need to reach out to her
Yeah, yeah,
mom?"
yeah.
He's like, "She's not that she doesn't my dad died, but my mom doesn't live here. I'll do it." And
Yeah.
when he has to reach out to her, I like start crying because like it just makes me think of like my mom, like
Mhm.
my family, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I could not
Yeah.
I could not even handle it.
Yeah.
It was very
Jesus.
emotional.
What the hell? Hang on. Hang on.
You're like,
It's honestly
it's my allergies."
I know, but it's been a while, honestly, since because I've been so much into, like, deep into marketing and then a whole 'nother book. It's like, it's been a
Mhm.
while. I kind of forgot
To, like,
this book
recap this
in
book.
a
No, I
way.
get you, I get it.
Yeah.
You're like, "Hold on, let me relook at, like, what did
I
I say
know.
here?"
Honestly, that's what's I even, like, with the acknowledgments, I was like, "What the who the heck did I thank in this book?"
You're like, "Who said that?" You're like, "What am I
I
doing
know.
here?" What chapter are we talking about?
Yeah.
Um, there's also a scene, a conversation that I enjoyed, and it's the scene where she is, like, just completely zoned out. It's like months have passed, I guess, right? Time has passed.
Mhm.
And she's just, like, zoning out, and she's, like, literally breaking down. And
Yeah.
Christian's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "I forgot to pack his lunch, like, 2 times. I
Mhm.
was, like, running late. I had to get groceries." And the whole
Mhm.
talk about the rubber ball and glass ball, loved it. I
I
was like,
wish.
"So genius." And
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm gonna use that moving forward." Like, because I get myself worked up over, like, the littlest thing, and my husband's always like, "Can you do anything about it now? Is it really
Mhm.
that important?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No." And he's like, "Okay, then just let it go. It's a rubber ball. Is this a
Yeah.
rubber ball or is this a glass ball?"
Mhm. Yeah. I wish I could take 100% credit for that. I don't remember where I first heard, like, how it's like when things are happening in your life, you need to juggle it or you need to find your way to juggle
Mhm.
it and, like, juggle the most important things first. I don't remember exactly where that came from, and then
Yeah.
everything else just, like, the rest of the conversation that I was able to just mold around it. But yeah, the ball, rubber ball analogy, I think that was, like, one of the earliest things that was made for the book, and I was like I actually because I write for this book, I actually kinda wrote out of order. So I actually wrote I think that was one of the first scenes I wrote, like, to
Really?
yeah, so I wanna say that was the 2nd chapter I wrote. So I wrote the very first chapter was the Christmas chapter,
Mhm.
and then after I wrote that really set the tone of the book for me, and then for at least the kind of, like, the bright, sweet moments,
Right.
and then the sadder moments was I think chapter 4, the breakdown, which is
Yes.
when that first analogy of the analogy of the glass ball, rubber ball is introduced.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was I think yeah, that kind of helped me, like, solidify, like, the tones of when it gets tough
Mhm.
and when it is lighter, like, how to lighten up the tone or how to try to manage. Because sometimes you can't exactly solve everything in one go, but at least you
Right.
can figure out a way to manage, you know?
Yeah, no, I loved when I read that, I was like, "Oh my god, that, like, resonates with me in so many ways," and I was like, "I'm gonna use that." Like, even with my kids, like, when they're having, like, stress, tough I'm gonna be like, "Okay, is this a glass ball situation or is this, like, a rubber ball situation? Like, let's
Yeah.
talk about it." And then at the end when he shows up okay, like, spoilers, I do not care, and, like, professes his love to her. I was, like, so giddy, and I was like, "This is so sweet. Where is it?" Oh my god, and it's like, "I need you to know that if you're having one of those days, those glass ball days, tell me, I'll always catch you." I was
Mhm.
like, "Swoon, oh my god, somebody say that to me." Like, it was such like a rom-com like, when you watch rom-coms and
Mhm.
you're waiting for that, like, that
Yeah.
chase, that, like, tell them that you love them, like,
Mhm.
"What are you
Yeah.
doing?"
Yeah.
It was perfect. I was, like, so happy.
Thank God, because I wrote that, like, 3 different times. Like, I wrote that
No,
I wrote that
changed it.
like, the first 2 times it just didn't hit right,
Yeah.
and then I ran it by one of my critique partners, and
Mhm.
she said, like, "It's really sweet, but something is missing, like,
Yeah.
something." So we just kept kinda going back and forth with it, and then, like, once I finally got it, she's like, "No, this is it. This is the
That
one
is
that you're
it.
looking
I'm
for."
so happy then that that's the one because I was so happy when that happened, and then obviously I love a good epilogue, and I was like, "Yes, happily ever after, I'm so happy." This book was so great. I loved it. It's just so fun. I haven't read one like this in a really long I don't even know, like, a book I can compare it to, but I loved it, and I can't okay, Night
Mhm.
Spartan series, who
Yep.
else are we talking about here? What do we got
Are we
going?
already talking about the potential spoilers for the next
I
books?
mean,
Are we
we don't have
already?
to air it, but
Oh, so you just wanna know for yourself. You're just like, "I'm gonna share this a tip later, okay?
yeah,
We're just,
like,
like,
this is for
exclusives."
the podcast, but not for the people. No.
Okay, well, I will say, okay, I will tell you this. The chapter called The Gift, right?
Yes.
When they're in Fallon, right? You meet the next you meet it's okay, I'll tell you, okay, you meet the MCs for books 2 and 3 on that mountain,
Yes.
or you met them already. It's
Yeah,
just that the reason I put them on that mountain for a reason.
and they're gonna share what they're
So you meet the FMC and the MMC for book 2 in and out of the book,
this
right?
book? Yeah.
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 I mean, I also literally just told you, like, in the previews. Yeah, in the preview section, I literally
Yes.
just yeah,
Yes, it is here. It is here.
that is the preview for number 2. That's about 20% done.
You're like, "That one's gonna have to wait."
Yeah, and then the FMC for book 3, you meet in this book, but, like, she does have dialogue. You meet her. Can
Okay,
you guess? Remember, each book has to have a Night Spartan in it. One of them's a pilot in every book. So,
I'm gonna have to okay.
you're gonna have to go back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
They're
go
on
back.
they're on the mountain.
I'm gonna have to go back for it.
Yep. They're on the
Okay.
mountain.
Is this a 3 book series?
am slating for 3. If I end up feel like writing more, then I will.
You're like, let's finish the next two, and then
Yeah,
let's kind of go from there.
yeah, yeah, that's what it is. So, definitely 3, definitely a trilogy at least.
Yeah.
If I feel like writing the rest, then I will, but until in terms of that, I'm committing to 3.
Oh my god, I love that. Wait, and then another scene that I have to say, another scene that I loved is the career day scene
Mm,
when she's like telling her job and like nobody cares. The kids are
yeah,
like, all right, cool. And
yeah.
then he comes in and does his, I love when he winks at her. And she's like, why is he winking at me?
It's like, what the
What?
heck, right? Like,
Yeah,
what
she's
the
like, "What is happening?" And then I love how he's like, "Any questions?" And the dialogue, her inner dialogue of like the other moms sitting there,
the
and
thirsty
the
moms, yeah.
one who's like, "How do you like your eggs in the morning?" I cackled so hard, and I love how she's like, "He likes it like this because I cook it for him every morning." Yes, and she's like, "I don't, but he doesn't
Exactly.
have to know that."
No, it's just random. It's just I don't know why I just decided to
No,
write that. It was just random.
I la laughed so hard because if I was sitting there and, like, he was up there, for sure, other moms, there's always those, like, moms who are like,
Mhm.
like, "Who's that?" "He's
Yeah,
he's in the Navy."
yeah, of
Like, yeah, they would do it.
course.
I laughed so hard at that scene. I was like, "This is so funny." Do you have what are your favorite scenes in this book? Do you have, like, a favorite scene or something that you're like, "Oh, I loved this part?"
One of them, it was the Christmas chapter. It was
Mhm.
when they were having a conversation out in the garage.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of the first time you actually see Christian crash out, you know? So
Yeah,
I
because he's, like, holding it together
yeah,
for a very long time.
yeah. I it was kind of the first time that I had him written like that, where he's like, "I'm having a rough time right now," and, like, admitting it and, like, trying to this is now kind of now because Odette has, for the first couple chapters, has always been like, she's going through it, she's
Yeah.
not sure how to handle things, or she's trying to figure out how to handle things, and he's always, like, the assist, right?
Yes.
And then this is now everything is now chapter 8, during that chapter is when things start to flip, and, like, now you actually are now focusing on Christian's pain and
Mhm.
what not only what he's going through now with his little sister's death, but also, like, his past. And, like, that starts to kinda come up, like, those insecurities and those kinda demons kinda start coming up. So, that was my favorite scenes. That's one of my favorite scenes to, look back on as, like, not only as, like, how when I wrote it, but also, like, now when I reread it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other ones? Let me think. Actually, I think my number 1, honestly, was that one. The Navy Ball is just kinda fun because I used to go to Navy balls a lot with my husband,
You're like,
and,
"I
like
know about
yeah,
this."
the pomp and circumstance was it's the tradition, it's, like, it's cute. I love
Yeah.
the tradition and the history of it, so that was also nice. Thumbing through this.
You're like, let me see if a certain
Yeah.
word pops out that I'm just like, "Yeah."
Um, and then, of course, the "fuck it" moment. That's always
Yeah.
cute.
You have to have one of those.
Yeah, and then there was a chapter when during Valentine's Day
Mhm.
when he was sitting out on her porch and they have that discussion. It's an argument. Yeah, I
Yes.
liked reading back on that scene. It's just kind of like, again, that's when you see Christian struggle and Christian pivot. And he's just like,
Yeah.
like that's not it. Everything's fine. Like, like that's again when his insecurities kind of start like
Really
manifesting.
was yeah, I
Yeah,
was really like, when I was reading it, and it's really like you said, the first couple chapters, it's really focused on Odette and her trying to, like, figure out and her, like, crashing out and just, like, I went from fun auntie to, like, now I'm, like, the care like, I have to provide and care for my nephew and, like, am I saying the wrong things? Am I doing the wrong things? Like,
yeah,
when she says, like, about, like, the ladybug conversation, she's like, "Holy crap." She's like, "What did I like, did I just start
yeah,
something? Because like, what if he sees no ladybugs ever? Like, what's
yeah,
gonna happen?" And the whole time and then whenever Christian would pop up, it was, like, a little bit of his story, but he was always there to, like, help her and just be like, "I'm here for you, like, what do you need?" So when it pivots and it shows his turn,
mhm,
I loved that because I was like,
yeah.
I wanted to see him because he also lost somebody and he's
Yeah.
also trying to like help take care of his nephew. And so I really did enjoy that you put that in your story. And I enjoy, first of all, I love the way you do your chapters. Like I love how it's like there's an image and then it's like the title. Like books
Mhm.
don't do that anymore, I feel, with like the titles of a chapter. It's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
chapter 1, chapter 5,
Yeah,
chapter.
or like and then maybe the narrator or the point of view is written there, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty common now, in a lot of romance.
Yeah. But I love yours because I love it when it's like chapter 8, the parole, or then like chapter 7, the ornament. And then as you're reading it, that comes up and you're like,
Mhm.
that's why it's that chapter. Like I
Yeah.
love those moments. Like I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
watching a movie and they say the
Mhm,
title of the movie in the
mhm.
movie, and I'm like, that's why the
Y
movie is called that. Okay.
Well, in the original during my original plotting of this book, it was originally based on, like, Grey's Anatomy and Scrubs. Like, that's where the narrative style of, like, something happens
Mhm.
or, like, so usually it's Meredith, right?
Yeah.
And JD, so depending on which show you're looking at, they start the episode with a narrative, and then, like, something happens inside the episode, usually at a hospital issue that pertains to the narrative in the beginning, and then at the end, it's some sort of self-reflection. That was the narrative style that I went with. Each chapter, I took it as an episode.
I love that.
So
Yeah.
hence why I had like a title like for each one. It's like the parole,
Yeah.
the ornament, the navy
Yep.
ball. Like,
Yeah.
that's the reason why. Like
I
that's
love
why I
it.
had to. I felt like I needed to like title
Do
the
it that way.
chapters.
Are you gonna do
Yeah.
that for the next 2 as
hmm
well? You're just
They're
gonna
all gonna
keep it
be.
consistent?
hmm
Yes. It makes me happy. I don't know why, because it makes me feel like when I see the picture and I see the title,
hmm
it's like, okay, like I know, like what is the meaning? There's like a specific meaning.
hmm
Like if there's a purpose to this, whatever it is. And so, and then when it happens in that chapter, it makes you just feel like, "Ah, like I knew, like I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy about it."
Yeah.
This was very different than your other books that we had talked about,
Yeah.
right? What do you prefer? Do you prefer writing this style or your other one? Or is it just like whatever the vibe is at the time where you're like, this is kind of what needs to come out?
Think it's kind of just like whatever the story needs because Not Without You and Tell Me Your Mind, my first two books,
Yeah.
they were a reflection of what I wanted to release when I was in my 20s. Because I
Hmm.
was watching those Asian dramas. I was watching those like anime and manga. Like I was that the way that I wrote those is
Hmm.
what called for it. And also that idea because I had the notes for those books when or at least for the first one for Not Without You when I was in my very early 30s. I want to say like 31 because I was pregnant at the time. So it must have been like I was 30. But then I was writing based on stuff that I was really into in my 20s. So now that I'm a little older, I'm a decade older, guys.
Whatever.
Like, I now that I'm older, my writing has reflected that, or at least the subject matter reflected that. It also helps because with the Zhaotun duology, they start in their early 20s. We're talking about like 21 years old. So, but then here, Odette is the youngest and she's 27, I think, at the start of the story.
Hmm.
So, that and you go through a whole year.
Yeah. Time
So,
pass. Yeah.
yeah, for the time lapse. So that is, so personally, if the story reflects or needs it, like, because I purposely wrote it in the style of like wanting it to be like a Grey's Anatomy or Scrubs
Hmm.
episode. So I I like both, but right now this is my vibe. Right now
Yeah.
the way that I'm writing my Spartans is
This.
my vibe. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. I would love to see this, and I always say, but I would love to see this as like a TV show,
Oh yeah.
movie.
Like just whether it's Hallmark, whether it's Netflix, I
Yeah,
don't know,
throw it
man.
on something. You could
I
like
know.
Prime, you know, just
Yeah.
throw it out there. It's a
Yeah.
series. Do you have an idea? Because you've got your, Odette's like a redhead,
Mhm.
and then you've got Christian,
Yeah.
Filipino. Like, do you have an idea who would you want casted?
So, I knew you
You're
were gonna
like,
ask me that.
"Yeah."
I knew you were gonna ask me that, so that's why I had to start up. I had to pull up people's names because I totally forgot. So I will tell
No,
you, okay,
I'm gonna
what
pull them up as you say them.
okay. So when I started again, I started this kinda early.
Mhm.
When I do fan casts in my like, I write down fan casts when kind of on the early developments of the characters. So I knew I wanted her a redhead. When I was first started with Holland Roden. I knew her from Teen Wolf. Been in different projects since, right? But I first saw her when she was in her like mid 20s. That's when she was in Teen Wolf. So that's who I originally casted in my head. But now that time has passed and I started thinking about it, I could totally see okay, her name is Abigail Cohen. I don't know what else she's been in.
Yes.
But then,
Red
and
redhead.
yeah,
She's in Fate the Winx Saga. That's like what she was.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I've seen that. I mean, as far as I've seen that name, like, or
Yeah, I've
that in
seen
her
like
credits.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like I've seen the cover on like Netflix or something, like
hmm
the poster for it.
hmm
Totally. I could totally see her.
I could see her, and then I could also see if you dye her hair. Um, her name is Catherine Newton. Let's see.
Yes. Oh my god,
She's
wait.
she was in that Frankenstein movie with Cole Sprouse, I
Oh my
believe.
god, I loved that movie. And
I haven't watched
Freaky.
it.
Okay, I
Really?
love that and I love Frankie. And then she was in the Ant-Man and the Wasp. She's like the daughter.
She's the daughter of I'm lost.
And then she's in Pikachu and Pokemon. I love that movie too.
And the reason why I picked those two is just because it's with Odette. I wanted her like kind of like a little like innocent and bright eyed, kind of like
Like just literally thrown into this unexpected, like not
yeah,
ready to be a provider.
yeah, exactly. That's who I would cast if I had the chance. Now Christian is a
Yeah,
lot harder. He
let's
is a
hit
lot
it.
harder because okay again like my inspiration at least personality wise when I first started was his name Paulo Montalban, right? But now he's like what? Now he's I don't know 50. So then after that, I end up randomly finding JC De Vera, he is a television actor in the Philippines. So same like
JC
princely
Devere.
quality,
Yeah.
same princely, you know, I called it $1 million smile. That's what I kept calling it in the book
Yes.
because he
Yeah.
does have that and it's really infuriatingly annoying. But now I don't see any. So Christian is roughly 30 years old. Yeah, he's 30 years old when we first meet him. And I can't find an actor who's full Filipino, either in the States or in Canada or wherever,
Yeah.
where where, he has that same look, that same princely, charming,
I totally get
wanna,
you.
it just infuriates me kind of good lookingness. Like, I can't, that classic good looking. And I can't find that. I'm having a hard time. So I
See,
haven't been able to cast him.
let's see.
I know. I'm having it's so horrible. It's
You're
so
like,
horrible. I can't fan cast. It's so horrible. This is so
like somebody fan cast for me because I cannot do this.
well, I can't find one. I can't find one. And every time I look up people, like they're a little too old. Like they're like in their 50s. And it's like, I mean, if this book was made like 20 years ago, yeah, sure,
You're
whatever.
like, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look. It's hard
Yeah.
because I mean, yeah, they're either really old or they're just not the
Look.
one that you're looking for. Maybe I love how we talk like we're literally trying to we're trying to cast this
No,
people. We're like, who could possibly play
I
Christian?
know. We're all casting directors and we're just like, who could play him?
This is when you need like a casting director from like the Hunger Games to like come and help. Like, who do
Yeah.
you think would like? Who is the
Like,
cast for this?
yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
My
That
God,
is insane. That casting was so good.
every day I see just like clips, and I'm like still like putting it out there on my threads. I'm like,
You
please
know?
invite us. I
Day
am more
766.
I am so excited. I'm so excited. And my husband is like, he's never watched any of the Hunger Games. And so I was like, okay, so before this comes
Mhm.
out, we need to binge the entire thing. And then he's like, all right, we'll do it. And I'm like showing him the trailer and I was like, I'm gonna cry so hard. He's like, I don't know why. And I was like, I know you don't because you didn't read the book, but I'm gonna cry so hard. And I'm like, oh my God, there's people who haven't read the book. They're gonna watch the movie and not like they're gonna go in like not knowing what's gonna happen. And it breaks my heart.
I haven't read it. I do know I kind of like just do like I heard what happens like
Yeah.
throughout and yeah, it's like I was like I'm just going to go walk in there kind of knowing what happens, but it's gonna just like slam me and I'm gonna walk out there with pain. Just
Oh my god.
absolute pain. Like
It's
I feel
gonna
like that's gonna
hit you
happen.
so hard, and it's gonna hit me so like, I know it's gonna come, and it's gonna, like, still like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, "Can this be one scene that you guys actually do change and that doesn't happen?"
I know.
They're gonna be like,
They're
"No,
like,
it's
no,
pivotal. These have to
no.
happen."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm so excited. November cannot come fast enough. I'm so
Mhm.
excited for that. But yeah, you're okay. Let's go back to your book. So, if you fall, I loved it. I cannot wait for your other two books. And we will definitely have my sister back. I'm going to ask her when I podcast with her this afternoon, her thoughts, and then I'm going to let her know what you said about
Okay.
hers. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
But yeah, so let us give you the moment to share anything you want to plug. So your social media accounts,
Yeah.
websites, if you have any events you have coming up, this would
Ooh,
be
I got a
it.
lot. Okay, so
Good.
I have a lot. So this is nice, as I have a lot. So you can find me on mostly Instagram. That's kind of where I live, just because I only have bandwidth for one social media.
Great.
At Anne Karine Quinn. That's my Instagram. Sometimes I randomly post. Usually I post stuff. I cross post on Threads too, and sometimes I randomly say something at midnight, whatever. Um, who knows? Yeah. So you can mostly find me on Instagram at Anne Karine Quinn. Website is www.annekarinequinn.com, and I am. You can also on my website you can find a list of all the independent bookstores that I have my work at across the country. And I, if anyone is over in Tampa during Independent Bookstore Day, that's April 25th. So, like, I know y'all are at a BTS concert, but by then, but I'm pretty, but pretty sure it'll be over by the time this airs. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I'll be there April 25th. But also May 23rd, I will be at Heartbound in Anaheim. And then, yeah.
Fun.
And then I'll be at 2 weeks after that, I will be at the New Romantics in Orlando. Yeah, those are the next two or three coming up. Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Are you excited?
I am. I'm I want this. I'm trying to focus. It's so hard to focus on like, okay, I need to like prep for book signings because I think I have one a month slated, and then also at the same time I'm trying to write. So it's like,
Gotta balance.
yeah,
You're like, it's hard. You're like, I gotta
yeah.
balance.
Like I actually called my sister. I was like, "Is there any way that you can come over and like watch the kids for 2 hours while I write?"
You're
And
like,
she's like,
please,
"Yeah,
I
totally."
have to get this out there.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. And thank you so much for coming back on this podcast. I love having a reoccurring guest, and you are definitely one that is always welcome on this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Always. And I hope our paths cross at some event.
Mhm.
Tiff and I are making our way out there. We're slowly getting out there.
Mhm.
So I hope that we cross paths in the future at an event.
I know. I'd love that.
Oh my God. I would love it. I would love it. I would love you to come out to Vegas. There are plenty of events here. So I would love if you could come out to one.
I would love to. There is a bookstore out there in Vegas who has been very supportive of me. So my
Is it
goal is to get.
XOXO?
Yes, XOXO has been very supportive of me since Not Without You.
Love
So
them.
I would love to come visit them in person and like try to do whether a signing or something.
Yeah.
It's more on the whole thing of like saving money to get out
Course.
there.
It
Yeah.
costs money to
So
travel. Of
yeah,
course. You
yeah.
know, we also love XOXO Bookstore. We will be there on April 25th.
Mm,
There are some book signings, and the authors will be there, and we're just going
cool.
to show our support. We love them. They actually opened a second location, and it's like honestly down the street from my job. And I was like,
Oh, that's dangerous.
I'm like, I'm going to go take my lunch real quick. It's literally like a light down the street from my job. I was like, this is not good. You guys were a
Yeah.
little further out. Now you're like inching closer and closer to me. No, but we love them. They're the best. We will be there on the April 25th. Yeah, if we could make that work, that would be amazing.
No, that would
They're
be so
just the
good.
sweetest. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
so nice. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. Add official page to picture for book to screen updates, behind the scenes content, and author interviews. And I hope you had a good time.
Of course I did. I love
I'm
coming
so
back
happy.
here.
Yeah. So happy. And if you fall, release date is
April 8th, 2026, same day as Naval Aviation's birthday. And also May is Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander month.
I know, and that was like on your Easter egg too. You were like, I have it all for a reason. The date and everything is for a reason. Yes. So please make sure you pick up your copy. And we are so excited to see all your other books that you have coming out.
Thank
Let us
you.
know. Thank you again for being our guest. As for our listeners, we will catch you next time on Peach to Picture. Bye.
Bye.